some people are calling this game the Genshin Impact clone, and some people are going to call this the Genshin Impact killer. For those of you guys who don't know, this game is Wuthering Waves, and EGM was able to get us some footage for its closed beta access. Now, this game is made by the developers of Girl Games, which also dropped Finishing Great Raven, which is a fun action game very similar to Honkai Impact. And this game plays very similar to Genshin Impact. Go figure. Now, what I will say about this game is that this game plays and feels very similar to Genshin Impact, but it's got a lot of different quality of life changes that make it better than Genshin Impact in my own opinion, but as well as it adds a lot of extra layers to this game. An example is right now they're doing this puzzle, and as you can see there's a grappling cord mechanic in this game. So the grappling cord is binded to a key wheel, and that key wheel you can scroll through different things. You're going to get access to an eagle eye, which will allow you to check out hidden things in the environment. You're going to get access to your grappling cord, which is a movement tech. You're going to get access to a bunch of different things. So right now, as you can see, the character is going to swap over to Eagle Eye, which is their scanner, and the scanner reveals certain hidden things we can attach. Another really useful thing that this game does differently that Genshin doesn't do is its movement. In Genshin Impact, when you're sprinting normally, it consumes stamina. In this game, the only time that consumes stamina is if you do dashes, if you do an air dash, if you do a dash while you sprint, if you run up walls, if you're gliding. Those are the things that consume stamina. And that's one of the things that I didn't really enjoy in Genshin, was when you're traversing through the overworld, the only way to go faster is either A, sprint, and once you're sprinting and out of stamina, that's it, or B, have characters that have movement skills. Now, what's really cool is that the grappling cord actually acts as a nice little tech here. As you can see, the person jumped, air dash, grappling cord, which gave them some height, glided. That got them to this platform here to get, collectible. Very cool. Another thing that you're going to see is that in this game, you can actually, instead of climbing up ladders, you have the option to run up ladders. Not only ladders though, you do have the option to run up flat walls from what it looks like, albeit at the cost of consuming stamina. Really cool. Now, the game is going to show us a little bit of combat, and combat in this game is surprisingly very fluid. Now, as you can see on the right hand side, you only have access to two skills, your E and your R skill. Your E is your basic skill, your R is your ultimate. You do have the option to tag in your character. From what I can tell right now, it looks like either tagging in or out characters activates a skill that they use when they come in, but I could be wrong. It just might be the players jamming their buttons, hard to say. Now, when you beat a mob, it looks like they drop a hologram. The hologram is called echoes, and from what I've seen from the gameplay is that echoes act as a third skill. Now, you can equip echoes. He has the wolf equipped, but now he's going to equip the Saurian Major, which we'll call the lizard. Now, it looks like you can tier up those echoes. Right now, the player is showing your echoes, and Echo Showcase doesn't really do much. It's just showing your echoes, which is cool. That scroll wheel allows you to be able to switch between your grapple hook, your eagle eye, and also your Echo Showcase. So that toggle wheel has the ability to be able to toggle through different things based on the needs of what you need in the overworld, but it looks like it activates very much in the overworld. You can also take pictures with it, which it seems like it's decent. Now, anything that was hidden can show up, and now you've toggled over to T. So it looks like in order to do that puzzle, you had to gain access to that energy orb that was in that rock, and you had to huck it to that rock to be able to break it open. So that's one way to break a rock. But what's really cool is after this player defeats this rock, they'll be able to absorb this as their echo. And then they're going to swap it over to the rock as their echo, which is binded to their Q skill. Now, by pressing Q, what's going to happen is they're going to be able to use that echo, and that echo, for at least this rock dude, is surprisingly simple. It's just a charge skill. Now, what that that enables is a movement tech. It seems like it's a bit faster than running, so you can use it for movement tech. But not only that though, a little bit further down in the video, it's going to be used to be able to access a hidden treasure chest. Now, combat, very fluid, honestly. I haven't seen these guys use the Saurians for combat, but most likely the Saurians, or not the Saurians, but the Echo will be able to be used in combat. It just looks like right now there isn't really a reason to. Now, what's really cool also is that this game, you can do resonating sound, which looks like it's very similar to how you can leave messages in Dark Souls game. But the question is whether or not these messages will show up in other people's worlds, or if it only shows up in your world and people who pop into your world can then see it. So interesting. Most likely it works on the former, but we'll see. There's a hidden wall over there. They're going to use their echo, charge into it, break it open, and then you'll gain access to a hidden chest. So there is more layers in this game than in Genshin. In Genshin, if you're doing a puzzle, more rarely or more often than not, all it is just essentially following something, breaking something, and that's it. In this game, it puts a nice little spin on it. You have to gain echoes in order to be able to interact with the overworld. You can't just exactly hit the wall and it breaks. So it's really cool. Now, in this footage, you're gonna see that this is very similar to in Genshin Impact, where it acts as your daily resource farm. Now, what's really cool with this is that this game looks like on release it's going to have a cap of 240 stamina. I don't know how fast the recharge rate is going to be for stamina, but it's looking like you're going to be getting 240 stamina compared to what Genshin has right now. Another thing that's very interesting is this little mini boss, when you kill it, it will drop two things guaranteed. It will drop a chest, and it will also drop a Takatite bloom. The Takatite bloom is what requires you to use 40 stamina to be able to claim the rewards. But what those rewards look like, it honestly looks like it's going to be coins, which seem like it's going to be a very in-demand resources, because if you're going to do anything in the game from upgrading, ascending, you're going to need to be able to use coins. As you can see, you gain EXP and 4,000 coins, and then you have transmitters and transmitters. I don't know what those will do in the game, but it seems like it's going to be used for advancing your characters. Over here, you gain some resource. You gain 5 of those things, 10 of those things. I can only assume that those are going to be tier up materials, but I could be wrong. What's really cool, the game allows you to be able to fast travel. Obviously, the game needs to have fast travel because it's going to suck for the players, but luckily that is in the game. Overall, my first impressions of the game is that movement and battle feel very smooth. There's a lot of things that are very intuitive, from sprinting not consuming stamina. Even when you're entering battle, sprinting does not consume stamina. And what's really cool is that overall the battle, the UI, the gameplay bears really smooth. It's nice, but I'm a little bit worried since it can feel it's a bit repetitive. Let me explain why. I personally had a lot of fun with Genshin Impact when I was playing with my friends, but when I played alone without my friends, it wasn't really that fun. The gameplay loop was essentially, outside of doing your dailies, it was just finding all your hidden collectibles and finding all your animoculuses. The animoculuses in Genshin were just essentially little hidden collectibles that you find, and if you find enough of it, you can convert those animoculuses to be able to give you a little bit more stamina in the game. This game, if it looks like the way it does right now and it follows the same similar gameplay as Genshin, it's going to be very similar to where outside of doing the storyline and doing your dailies, all your other gameplay is going to be doing your Abyss dungeons, which is just your end game weekly dungeon, as well as just your dailies. And the one thing that I will say that this game does better than Genshin is that things are more intuitive. Running does not consume stamina, climbing up walls does. Buildings like that over there in the distance with those shiny little blips, you can use your grappling cord to fast attach to those and sling from building to building. So traversing through the overworld is actually quite smooth, feels very fun, very Assassin's Creed-like, very Sekiro-like, surprisingly. The one thing that I don't really like though is that the gameplay loop feels like it's going to be kind of repetitive and boring. Because after using all your stamina, there really isn't much else to do in this game, which can be good, can be bad. If you guys like playing games like this, it's going to be bad because once you've consumed your stamina, there's not much else to do outside of doing exploration and collecting all your collectibles. On the bright side though, it doesn't feel like the game is forcing you to play it, since you could just do your dailies and not do your collectibles, and it doesn't really punish you in that sense, at least if we're talking about Genshin. Overall, I would say this game looking like it's going to be a very solid game on release. Don't know about the story, but overall, looking forward to playing this game for myself. But it might be one of those games where I would get bored very easily if I'm not playing with friends. Guys, let me know down in the comment section, what do you guys think about this game? Are you looking forward to playing this game? Are you excited about this game? Do you think the game is going to be exactly like Genshin? Do you think it's going to be better than Genshin? Do you think it'll be worse than Genshin? Let me know down in the comment section down below. As usual, my name is John Panio. I stream Monday to Friday almost every day, and I upload gaming content.